today I'm going to be recording my reading with JC, otherwise known as Jesus the Christ. And I double checked with him to see if he would be willing to share information if that was, a go, and I've gotten a go. So I'm just going to be sharing whatever it is that JC, that's how I like to refer to him, wants to share. So whatever Jesus wants to share, I'm just going to interpret the cards and see what the message is. And I'm just the messenger, okay? And interpreter of symbols that have meanings here. So far, he's been telling me through the cards that he's going to be talking about the church, no matter whether it's Catholic, evangelistic, or whatever. People that follow or supposedly his beliefs. There's some issues there. I saw some anger. I also see that he will be bringing clarity to people's consciousness. That is true. And we'll go into more of that. But for right now, I made those notes on those readings, so I got it written down. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead, because it may pick up in this reading, and see what he wants to share. So I'm just connecting to the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth and what he wants to share. And I ask for him and the Holy Spirit to guide me so that I can share the message accurately that he wants conveyed and clearly. And I ask for his blessing, and I give thanks, and I ask for all watching this to be blessed also, and I give thanks. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to be doing these in rows of 4, and I read typically a pair each. I read pairs. So it's basically condensed to 2 kind of theme areas, if you will, in the reading for me. It's just whatever. It's just the way I do it, and it's what works for me. Okay, so let's see what we have. I wanted to give these a really, really good shuffle. So this is interesting. This is one of the cards that has been coming up repeatedly, and that is of the Fool, of a new beginning, of a new start, and risks and gambles, leaps of faith. But let's continue, because we're going to need to see the other cards around it. So we're already coming back to what he showed that he was going to discuss. That is a new beginning. And it is a rebirth. It is an ending and a new beginning. And he's showing here that this is the end of a pretty considerable cycle. And it's time to level up. Okay. I think this is also probably connecting to the coming again aspect, because I think what he's going to do, however way it happens, what I've been shown is people will have a new awareness. It's like suddenly they will have a knowing. It will be clearer to them what, they've, just the truth, and knowing where they've been, needing to change. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so here we've got endings and new beginnings. And we have the 10 of Cups. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. My goodness. So he's really indicating about a new cycle and an end of an old. And it creates growth, but certain things will be ending and changing. And we're getting also the 10 of Cups and another 10, but in the major arcana with the Wheel of Fortune. So there's this whole shift of, I feel like, with especially the 10 of Cups, has a lot to do with how we feel about and relate to each other as human beings, and not just human beings, but our greater environment, because we are interconnected. We are all one. And this is, I think, a new era in humanity understanding that. So he's bringing this up, not me. I'm just the card reader and, the one that tells you what the cards mean and what I think he's trying to say, or whoever I'm reading for. Very clear. Also, we have 3 major arcana here and 1 minor. So there's a real powerful emphasis of these archetypes of endings and beginnings and a change in cycle. And we have the rebirth also with the phoenix here arising, and we have the Egyptian also, goddess of the sky, Nut. We have a little butterfly or moth. And we're shedding form. We're going to be changing. So there's something, he's referring to something new is coming. He's wanting people to be aware of it. There will be things that end. There will be, so that new beginnings can be made. And you're just going to have to trust. And for a lot of people, it's going to really, really require them to leave a comfort zone. Require them to think outside of the box or outside of traditional thinking and conditioned thinking, just of human, of course, in the variety of ways that society and churches and various places, and I'm not meaning to talk smack, I'm just talking fact. But there's a lot that is going to be, as promised, clarified and revamped, basically. And it is a very significant shift that he's talking about here. And it's understandings. It always comes back to this, so that people understand that we are all one. We are all interconnected, and that includes your environment, that tree, that lake, that bunny rabbit, people you don't particularly get along with, At the end of the day, we are, and nothing, and no one can say that you are no longer a part of that. They do not have that authority. Okay, that's another thing that I got. Anyways, we're seeing a new day for Shua. One that requires people to be willing to change, to try something new, to think outside a bit of the box. I think that the people that get it, and as it's always been said, let those who can hear, basically let those who can understand the message understand it. But it's a shift. It requires a leap of faith and being willing to do things that are new, being willing to start a new journey of growth and awareness about life and death and anything in between, it looks like to me. And ancestors and the greater, spiritual family that we are connected to. And this is a very significant shift with the Wheel of Fortune, I think, in the cycle, in the evolution of this planet. I do. I think it's significant. And he's including, if you look at that Wheel of Fortune, to me, it's also like a compass. For me, it's like all the holy directions, all the sacred directions, and the angels and the keepers and the helpers, spiritual helpers. This is like the universe, if you will, beyond, kind of like a little blueprint there, and an indication that it's a very significant shift. Fascinating. Okay. This is the Five of Cups, and it's dealing with sadness and loss, mourning and grieving, depression, heavy emotion. Falling under the Fool. We have the Knight of Swords and falling under Death. A message coming in, and I think from the other side, quote unquote, from spirit, from those non-incarnate. Nothing, we need to get to the understanding that, and stop thinking of it as special. It's natural. It's just a closed way of thinking has persisted for years, but we've also known for years that, by tradition, that there's more going on than meets the eye. So, anywho, here we have the King of Cups. I believe that's JC. Hi. Right on, dude. And the Six of Wands. This is recognition of him and him being winning a point, winning a significant battle. And it's a battle here against, it looks to me like the sorrow of loss and depression and just people being stuck in that place. And, belief is that for many people, I'm going to say the words that probably offend some, but I don't really care. Ascended master, prophet, however, you want to, Lord, however way, with all respect. Anyhows, he had a significant mission and still does. And he's indicating there's a change coming. He's connected to it, and the message is one that is of great empathy, one that is of love. And to me, very Piscean about you might be different, but you're, all connected. And really being able to, I feel like, get through to people on an emotive, spiritual level. So I think, he's going to come with a message for people. And they're not going to mistake it. He's been saying it all along. And again, not everyone that says that they're on board is really on board, if you know what I mean. Here's the thing, breaks his heart. This is heartbreak. This is betrayal. This is sorrow, hardship. Now, when we're looking vertically, we're looking at innocence, and we're looking at loss, and we're looking at grieving and pain. And to me, this can be about children or the vulnerable, those who are vulnerable in society, not just children, but people that are childlike, that are loving, that are trusting. Definitely. And this is about independence. And this ending is to bring about people to be more independent and well balanced and truly living in a better way, in a way that is more balanced and successful, because you can live that way here. The problem is the mindset of the world. So there's a grieving, I feel like, of a loss of freedom here as well. When I'm looking at these rows, because I do read vertically, horizontally. And here we have the High Priestess falling under the King of Cups and the Ten of Cups. There's a lot of mysticism, I think, that is going to be shared or become clear as a way of healing. And especially wherein there's been a hardship upon people's independence. And that can be, and because it's the Pentacles, it's in the physical realm. That can be your body, your financial well-being, to look after yourself, your physical, mental well-being, to look after yourself. What I tell you, clarity and truth and healing. And he's going to reveal what's been hidden. He's going to reveal some sacred truths that really are bringing well-being. And they will bring clarity that separates the BS from the real thing. Because a lot of, unfortunately, organized religions will say, if you don't go here, then you're not going to heaven, quote unquote, or you're not going to advance to a better place, which is simply not true. One of the things in the Bible also says that one day you will not be going to a specific place, a house of worship. You will be able to do it out in the field while you're walking, You will have your own relationship, that it won't be dependent on an outside belief system. And that's what's been needed all along. And it's not that people shouldn't have fellowships and things like that so they can get together, people of like-minded belief. I have no problem with that. But it's when they start throwing around nobody else has it right, and they oppress a large portion of the public, any bit of the public, for reasons that don't matter but are shallow and really show more of a human problem than a spiritual one. They are clearly not fit to lead if they have that lack of empathy. That's clear. That should be clear to people, but it's not, because people have been conditioned to believe through guilt and a lot of other things what they have. So he's going to bring clarity. And so if we look down this way, we get the Wheel of Fortune. We get the Six of Wands connected to him, and the Ace of Swords. It's going to be clear. He's just going to bring the truth, and one that people hadn't been aware of, that exists. And where loss and loss of freedom and heartbreak and suffering and all of that is involved, there's something he's going to reveal about that is a very positive message. And it is affirming. But truly, what he shares is for everyone, because no matter who you are and what you believe, he is a loving being, and he has something very significant that he'll be sharing that will help us consciously to level up, and in a very, I feel like, significant fashion. And where he's concerned, the truth will be known. He's not going to allow anyone to twist like they have with some of these guys and ladies and people that mega churches that want all your money and that are money based, that what do they call that? They call that abundance something or another. Anyway, he's definitely still going to be bringing a message at his time and choosing, and yes, it will seem like it comes out of the thin air, so to speak, with that Knight of Swords, so it comes quickly, and I think it will be more like a telepathic, a mental, sudden moment of understanding that will be pretty flooring for a lot of us, all of us, but in different ways, because we're all different, yet, of course, connected. So let's pull some extra cards here. He always said he would be bringing the sword. Well, I believe it's a sword of truth. And I feel like this is another aspect of him, because I think that the extremism is going to continue, and I think there is this need for intervention of stop that nonsense. That here's the truth, okay? For those of you that missed the memo. And it's, again, it closes a very painful chapter of suffering and what he suffered on the cross, and how we persecute other people for looking different. Like here we have an indigenous person that is on the cross. We've definitely done that to the indigenous populations in the world. And what you do, part of those that follow him believe that what part of the belief system is that, what you do to others, you are doing to him. If you don't care enough about yourself, which you should because you are connected to him, he's bringing that message home. And about the violence, and about the suffering. He'll be bringing truth about that in the world. I feel like the King of Wands in this case could be an angel. And childhood, children, the past. And I feel like the past, again, will be set to being the past. There's a very new way he's saying that he's going to bring forward. And one of it is to penetrate people's conscience and their mind. They will have, I feel like, a moment of stunning awareness. Literally, their come to Jesus moment. It doesn't mean that they have to convert. He's never been about that. And that's been with the church and men and women and other people that have made this organization and various organizations in his name have made a rule. That was never anything he ever taught. But when it came to himself, he tried to teach people to discern, and he grew very frustrated. And I think this is him closing finally that door of frustration on the ignorance that was frustrating him then in the world, and that is reached fever pitch at this point. We get all these tens, and we get the suffering is intense. There's more of a sense of a loss of well-being and freedoms. And there's depression, there's heaviness, and it comes swiftly. It comes swiftly. And I feel like it could be on the heels of something tragic that might involve children. And he definitely brought that up about, and it's not about abortion. It's about with the church and its shameful things coming to light, like in Canada. Again, more of that is what I got. Anything connected, again, to children, the vulnerable, and the loss of their lives, definitely. It's heartbreaking to him. That will be made clear. I think I had a dream of him a long time ago, back when my children were very young, angry. And I just saw this anger. And I was like, I knew it was more at the churches at the time. And at the time, I was a Catholic. And I was like, whoa, that took me off guard. But not now. Doesn't surprise me now at all. Okay. So, yes, to me it is the corruption within not just the places that you expect, but within those especially bearing his name or professing to believe and follow him. And this has to do with the corruption within the places that humans have constructed. For what purposes that they claim, be it church or state or otherwise. It's about corruption, and this is about oppression and a loss of freedom, and a loss of freedom to think your own thoughts. Like I said, he's bringing the truth. And I'm just reading what I'm getting here. And look, the three, that it's more than one, right? It's a joint collaboration that is corrupt. You know, it's not just one thing, or it's not just this church, or it's not just that government. It's a collective that enables each other in the world that's evil and oppressive to the innocent in the world, that are just coming into the world and just trying to live their life. And it gets interrupted. It gets taken. It's, to me, a life cycle that is also lost. And, you know, we have COVID, and a lot of people that don't want to wear masks that help to protect the vulnerable. Don't think that isn't part of it, because it's massive, and he's showing that. And it's not just one time in history. It's collectively, it's now, and it'll be then. And he's saying there's no just one thing. It is a collective that acts in coordination with each other, knowingly and unknowingly. But it's all, and here's the eggs, to maintain power with the use, I feel like, of lies and deceit and telling people things that aren't so, and using power to make them believe things that aren't true. There's a lot of ways that happens. It happens through politics, it happens through religion and society, you know, families, unfortunately. The people that share information maliciously, misinforming on purpose so that they can be in control. These issues are coming up, and the cover-up, and he's going to reveal that. I know that that's what he's shown here again, so let's see. And the choices of those that are, I think, part of this corruption, that are hiding that, or think that they can. The exposure of their partnership, exposure of how they work together. The wisdom from children, the wisdom of innocence and lightheartedness and following your own way, not having to depend on being childlike, right? And being able to believe and have more of an open mind, but also wisdom with the hermit. This is healing, and this is peace with the Four of Swords. And a new beginning with the Ace of Pentacles. And I feel like it's a new beginning in an earthly sense of awareness and wisdom. And healing. A cycle of that. So that you have to become like a child to enter quote-unquote heaven. It just means, you know, if you want to go to a good place, you need to keep an open mind, and a loving heart, and love unconditionally as much as you can, right? And wisdom, the wisdom of an elder with the heart of a child. So I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I will come back to this, pardon any background noise, and I will see you again very soon. I really enjoyed this reading. I feel like this is part one. I do. I feel like he's saying there's more to come. Yes. And he's talking about how tradition is not making people feel welcome. though they need help, people don't feel welcome there, and there's a problem with traditional teachings. Not everyone is welcome, and that's not how it should be. Here's the Holy Spirit. There is confusion, delusion, where men who want power are concerned. So, to me, he's saying it is the fantasy structure of a lot of, I think, people that run it. It's their vision, not his. Right? This is their traditions, what they're teaching. He says there needs to be more moderation, and especially bringing in the Empress where women are concerned. They need to leave women alone, allow women to take charge of themselves, and there needs to be more balance in the world with acknowledging and making just as important women, and those who are coming from that nurturing place. So I leave you with that thought. Let me know what you have to say and how you feel. Thank you so much for watching this. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I will be making videos again as much as I can, but as you can tell, I have a bit of busyness in my household. So thank you, and I'll see you soon in probably the next live. Bye-bye.